Ladies and gentlemen, we have been lied to. We have been led astray. We were betrayed. We were deceived. The truth, DT is a liar. Now, in all seriousness, though, we all got fooled. Because what we're looking at here is a very unique situation that doesn't happen all too often, but it does happen. And that is that the JP maintenance didn't actually give us a data download. It was merely maintenance. So this video is just going to be explaining what happened with the situation and when we are likely going to find out about the part 2 LR, I guess part 2, version 2, right? Because at the end of the day, no matter what we say, no matter what we theorize, Dokkan lives to troll. You can never guess their next move, and I will show you some very solid examples of this in this video. So let's just start with, you see, what happened was, if you actually look at the message that they give you at the bottom here, like the maintenance memo, it tells you what the maintenance is all about. And so since we can't read this, you know, the Japanese version, I think a lot of people just assumed that there was going to be a data download, because most of the time there is a data download. Why would they do a maintenance? To shut down the game so that they can implement whatever new stuff they want to implement. Anything that involves implementation requires a data download. But this was really just server optimization. They were just messing around with some stuff on the back end that didn't involve anything additional being added to the database. And so that resulted in no data download. So a lot of people, myself included, were sitting here at 10 p.m. PDT waiting for something, and nothing happened. Nothing at all. And everybody was surprised. Now, like I said, this has happened in the past. So big shout out to Rick on Twitter for sending me this example, because I'd asked him about this. He couldn't find the most recent JP version, but I mean, this is enough. This establishes precedent that this has happened in the past. So this is back in September of 2023. This is like the most recent instance that he could find, but I'm sure there have been more since then. So this was for Worldwide Celebration. I was also expecting some info tonight, but it would make sense if Global's maintenance is just server optimization, no data download, since we had one of those exactly on the same day a year ago. So this has happened before, and under maintenance info, it merely says server optimization. I think normally it says other stuff, update this, that, or something else. But since it just says server optimization, it could very well just be that and nothing more. So the fact that this has happened before means that anytime that there is a maintenance, we really have to be careful about what is here and also what they say, what they disclose in the server maintenance itself. Also, another clue against there being a data download was that JP never received any sort of like upcoming content graphic. You know how there's normally like the new Goku art? Actually, it's not a new one, but it's the Goku art, and then it says info on upcoming content. Hold on, let me just pull this up on the global side. It's just easier to look at it. Global news. Like, we usually get something like this, right? So if there was going to be a data download, usually something like this would show up around that point, and we didn't see anything. So that's another point against the data download. Now, hold on, I accidentally closed a tweet I was trying to find. So when is the new revised destination point for the part 2 LR? Well, it is looking like it's going to be the 17th. Now, this is very odd. Before we even explain why the 17th is likely next, the reason why that didn't even cross my mind, and I think a lot of people's minds, was because of the stone sales, because of the Elder Kai ritual summon times. These times, generally speaking, have been known to be somewhat indicative of when the next banner will be dropping. More so the stone sales than the Elder Kai banner. The Elder Kai banner nowadays seems to be kind of all over the place. Sometimes it's a day before, sometimes it's 3 days afterwards. I mean, this is not a good enough indication, but the stone sales generally are. And from my experience, what I have observed so far in Dokkan's history, there has never been a stone sale drought longer than 24 hours. So if the 17th is to be when we get the next banner, then that means the stone sales would be down for almost 2 days, which seems like a lot. So that was another reason why I just didn't think that that was going to be the case. But now let's talk about how he came to this conclusion. Where did this number come from? This number came from the Unix epoch time signature of the home screen banner. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but let me explain. Basically, on the home screen, you have those rotating pieces of news at the bottom of your feed, right? So the home screen banner, which is for the Cell Dokkan Festival, has a start point and an end point. This is the epoch's time signature thing. And what this basically is a unique code that is solely exclusive to that one moment in time. Every moment in the history of all time has its own unique timestamp. It's not something that can be replicated, right? So this code belongs to this particular time. 17448767799 is the time in the future when this would go away. If you go to an Epoch's Unix timestamp conversion, that converts to April 17th, 12:59 a.m. daylight savings time in my time. So wherever you are, it would be, you know, according to whatever that is. But another way to look at this would just be to look at the cell banner. The cell banner goes away on the 17th at 1 a.m. So some of you might say, Toon, you're stupid. This was so obvious it was going to end at this time. Here's my counter to that. No, this is not always the case. Most recently, during the Saiyan Day celebration, the Saiyan Day banner was set to end on the 2nd, but the Dokkan Festival for Cell began on the 1st, or basically the 31st as it became the 1st. So see right here, end date for the Saiyan Day banner, April 3rd, 12:59 a.m. PDT. Start date for the Cell banner, March 31st, 5 p.m. PDT. Normally, generally speaking, a previous Dokkan Festival banner would end before the new banner shows up, but occasionally there will be some overlap. So this alone suggests that this is not always the case. So just because you thought that it could be at this time doesn't mean that it's obviously going to be this time. And if anything, it is a much more likely scenario that they follow the stone sales and not the banners itself, because the banners themselves, especially these low performing banners, can be around for as long as they want, and it still is not going to really draw in any revenue, right? So this doesn't matter to me as much. I think that this is a better indication, but apparently this is no longer going to be as reliable of a thing. This is a message that I got from Rick when I was talking to him about this. They've also made it more difficult to predict release dates through sales dates and Elder Kai dates alone. They don't seem to line up exactly now. So moral of the story, there's always doubt in anything that we talk about, which is why I'm always presenting information with a little bit of doubt. There's a chance, or, you know, it should be at this point, it should be at that point. The word choice is deliberate because these trolls are always doing things a little bit differently at random times. So if we are to go by this, the 17th at 1 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, then let's just do the whole reverse engineering thing again. If the 17th is the banner release, the 16th would be the data download, which means the 15th would be the Twitter reveal. I am recording and posting this video as it's becoming the 14th. So in about a day and a half, we should be potentially finding out what the part 2 LR is going to be. That is, of course, if they would rather, you know, tell us ahead of time and not have it be spoiled through a data download, which apparently is what happened last year with the LR Ginyu. I didn't know this. I don't remember this happening, but apparently it did. So that's the situation. Hopefully that clears any confusion for you. If you're still confused, well, that's exactly what Dokkan wants. They want you to be confused because they're a bunch of trolls. They live for this stuff. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like down below. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on what is going on with this whole data download server maintenance thing. Were you surprised? Were you disappointed? Are you going to be okay for the next couple of days doing nothing but Peton battle? That's right. The only piece of content that we've got for the next few days, actually, until the 21st, is Peton battle. Yay! Just think about that. What are you going to be doing in the meantime? Because let's face it, most of you are not going to be playing Dokkan. So what is another game that you are going to be playing during this downtime while we're waiting for some sort of news? And even after the part 2 banner releases, you'll probably still not be playing a whole lot of Dokkan because things are going to be a little bit tame. But what game are you going to be playing? Let me know. Share your game in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future and click the notification bell so that you'll let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned, and always remember to Dokkan responsibly.